I'm excited to show you how easy it is to make this patriotic dessert with layers of cream cheese whipped cream, gluten-free banana cake made with almond flour, and natural banana pudding made with a real banana, and fresh strawberries and blueberries. So we're going to start with making our natural banana pudding. So I'm going to add 1 banana to a medium-sized saucepan. And then we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of coconut milk. And this is the milk that comes in a can, not in a carton. And as our natural sweetener, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And for flavor, we'll add a teaspoon of vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon salt, and then as our thickener, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour. Now you can put all of these ingredients into a blender like a NutriBullet or a Vitamix. I'm gonna go ahead and just blend them right here in my pan using my immersion blender. There we go. And this will make sure that you don't have any banana clumps, and it also blends in the tapioca flour. And then you'll want to turn your heat to medium and then just continually stirring until it comes to a really light boil. And then as soon as it comes to a really light boil, you'll want to continue to stir it for about another 4 or 5 minutes, just as it thickens up. So you can see those nice big bubbles showing off how nice and thick that it is. So we'll go ahead and remove this from heat. And now we'll want to transfer it to a heat-proof bowl. Now this pudding is going to thicken as it cools, so we can put this in the fridge for probably about 3 or 4 hours to cool off completely, or you could speed it up a little bit by putting it in the freezer until it's cool, probably about 30 minutes to an hour. And of course, you can make up a pack of your favorite banana or vanilla pudding if that's your preference. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my freezer while we work on the cake. To replace the angel food cake that is typically used in a berry trifle, we're going to make a banana cake. We're going to begin by mixing our wet ingredients, and we're going to start with 2 very ripe bananas because that's when they are sweetest. Now you could mash these with a fork on a plate, but I prefer to just put them right into my bowl with the other wet ingredients, and then I can mix them with my immersion blender. And that just makes it extra smooth without any banana clumps. But I don't want to add the eggs at this point because I don't want them to get overmixed. So I'm going to skip ahead to my other wet ingredients, which is 1/3 cup of applesauce, which just adds another really fresh flavor. 1/3 cup of maple syrup as our natural sweetener. 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. For added flavor, 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. And now I'll take my immersion blender and just blend it all until smooth. And now I'll go ahead and add my eggs, which is 3 eggs plus 1 egg white. And I'm just gonna mix this a few times until blended. And now we can add our dry ingredients, which includes 2.5 cups of almond flour, 1/2 cup of tapioca flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then I'll use my whisk attachment on my immersion blender, and then I'm gonna mix these just until they're blended. And now we can pour this into a 9x12 or 9x13 pan, and make sure you spray it really well with some nonstick cooking spray so it'll be easy to get the cake out once it's baked. Now our batter will seem a little bit shallow in this pan, but that's okay because we're cooking this cake and then we're going to either crumble it with a fork or cut it into little squares before putting it into our trifle. If we were making this as a full banana cake, we could maybe 1.5 or even double the recipe to have a little bit higher cake. Now this is ready to go into a 350-degree oven for about 18 to 22 minutes, or until the sides and the top turn a slight golden brown and a toothpick comes out clean. Well, here's the cake that I cooked earlier, and you can see what a nice sponge that it creates. Now for creating the cake layer in our trifle, we have 2 options. We can either just take a fork and go in and start breaking up pieces of cake, or we can take a knife and cut these into small squares. So you just take your knife and you're going to kind of eyeball about 1-inch cubes. And this cake will be super easy to cut through. So you just take a nice little serrated knife and you can quickly make long strips of cake. And then just flip your cake and make some strips going the other direction. So now we have these super cute little banana cake cubes that are ready to go into our trifle. And the best part is that no one will notice if one is missing. Oh man, that was so good. I could just eat the cake like this. To make our cream cheese whipped cream, we're gonna start with 1.5 blocks of cream cheese, or 12 ounces. As our natural sweetener, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice just to wake up the flavors, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm just going to use my immersion blender to mix it until it's smooth and creamy. I think we'll go on a lower speed. There we go, a little better. Wow, that looks good. I think we need a little pinky test. Yeah, you could definitely just use this as a cream cheese frosting. Now I'll set this aside, and then we're going to make our whipped cream. And I'm just using a tall beaker that comes with my immersion blender. We're going to add 2½ cups of heavy whipping cream. Now heavy whipping cream is the same as whipping cream. It's just a little bit higher in the fat content and therefore holds its shape a little bit better. But you could use either one. And then I'll just mix this until we have our stiff peaks. That is always #satisfying when those stiff peaks form. And then now we want to combine our whipped cream with our cream cheese. And I know this looks like a lot, but we have a big trifle bowl to fill. And then again, I'll just take my whisk, I'm going to turn the speed to low, and then just very gently kind of fold these together just until they're blended, because we don't want to break down our whipped cream. That looks so good. I think we need another quality control pinky test. Spot on. And then we'll go ahead and let this sit in the refrigerator until we're ready to assemble our trifle. And now we can prep our strawberries. And I'm going to start with a 2-pound package that I've already rinsed and dried. And then we're simply going to cut out the stem. And then we want to slice these into about 1/8-inch thin slices. And we want to go vertically so we have that nice triangular shape of the strawberry. So we can just start at one end and just simply slice down, making some nice, even, and thin slices of strawberries. And now we can assemble our trifle. Now we want to start with a layer of cream, and then cake and berries, and then cream, and then cake and berries, and then cream on top. So we're going to have 3 layers of cream. So we need to keep that in mind as we put cream inside of our trifle. So we're going to measure out about 1/3. And I find it works best is if you first kind of dump your cream into the center of the bowl, and then you can gently push it to the outer edge with your spatula. And this keeps it nice and neat on your edges. And this trifle bowl kind of creates its own natural turntable, which makes it really easy to just spin and spread the cream. Now this is where you have full creative license if you'd like it to feel a little bit more kind of messy and thrown together, or if you'd like to create it a little bit more neat and orderly. It's going to taste the same either way. I'm going to go ahead with a little more neat and orderly. So I'm going to start with my strawberries, and I'm going to find some of these centerpieces that have a real pretty shape. So I'm going to start by just pushing a strawberry with the pointy side down into the jar. And I want to loosen up some of my cake squares so that they're easy to grab. And we're going to be doing 2 layers of cake. So you can kind of divide your cake in half to know how many pieces you have to work with. So next I'm going to put a square of cake. And I'd like to use the side of the cake because the color is a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to alternate with another triangle of strawberry and another cake piece and another triangle strawberry, or strawberry triangle. So now that the edge is done, we can go ahead and fill in the middle with more of our cake cubes. So we can just go in and push those down into our cream. This definitely feels more like art than food. Now we want to add in a layer of our banana pudding. And this was just out in the freezer. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. We can just see what a really nice consistency this is. Now I'm just going to kind of take some clumps of it and then just kind of lay them across my cake. And it's okay that it doesn't cover the cake completely because it's going to be mixed into all of the bites and will be absolutely delicious. Now because this is real banana and natural banana color, it's not going to have that bright yellow color of a normal banana pudding. And so I'm not going to have it close to the edge so it's showing. I'm going to keep it towards the middle so it just kind of blends in with the cake. So it will be a delicious bite. All right, now we can add in our blueberries. And we didn't have to prep these other than rinse them off first. So what we want to do is take our blueberries and we want to line them against the glass right above our strawberries and our cake. This way we're going to get that beautiful blue color on our sidescape of our trifle dish. And I'm not sure if sidescape is a word, but it is now. Copyright me. This dessert is all about the sides. Now that we've gone all around the edge with the blueberries, we're ready to repeat our layers. So we're going to take about half of our cream that we have left over. Again, just kind of plop that right in the middle. And then we'll gently push it out towards the edges, which will help to push the blueberries against the glass. So we want to have a continuous white layer all around the edge of our bowl. And now to start our next strawberry layer, we want to alternate where they were below. So then we can look down on the side and just push a strawberry in that's in between the strawberries down below. And now we can fill in with more of our banana cubes. Now, one of the funnest parts of making desserts is being able to sample it as you go. And with this dessert, you can't exactly just take out a scoop without anyone noticing. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a nice little mini trifle that's layered in this jar. So before I run out of ingredients, I'm gonna go ahead and just send some cream down in the bottom and some pieces of cake and a little bit of our banana pudding, some blueberries, and I'm saving that for later. And then now on our trifle, we can add the remainder of our banana pudding. And again, we're just gonna kind of lay this into the center because I'd prefer to have it not showing through on the edges. Now we want to add our next layer of blueberries, which is just around the edges. And then now we can dump on the rest of our cream. And we have a nice smooth canvas to put our amazing star on top. Now, of course, you could just create a really beautiful mound of berries on top, but I'm gonna go ahead and create a really patriotic blue star surrounded by strawberries. So the easiest way to do this is to use your finger to measure about 1 inch. And we're first going to place the 5 corners of our star. So we just want to divide this into 5 parts. So again, putting it about a finger in from the edge. And then you can just kind of eyeball them till they look nice and even. Now we're just going to start creating a line with our blueberries in towards the center. Okay, now that we've got the basis for our star, we can go ahead and start filling in to create those peaks. So we'll go to like maybe 2 blueberries across and then just 1 out at the corners. So now we're going to take our strawberries, and we have all these triangular shapes, and we're going to start with 1 triangle that goes right into that inner peak inside of each of our stars. And then now we can take more pieces, and we're going to keep them all with the points going inside. We're just going to place them right against our stars. Great. So now we can take more strawberries, and we're just going to go around the entire trifle, just filling it in. And we can put them all just side by side. And if you have some of these smaller pieces, can go right underneath the peak of your star. All right, and now that we've filled in all our strawberry pieces, we can go ahead and fill in with a few more blueberries to try and cover up as much of that white cream cheese whipped cream as we can. Okay, done. Well, that looks amazing. It was so much fun to make. I am so glad I made a sample cup because I am dying to try this. So I'm gonna dig in and make sure I get a bite with some of the banana cake. That is so delicious. That tastes so fresh and full of flavor. So not only is this emotionally satisfying because you're eating such a beautiful and festive dessert, but it's also physically satisfying because it's made gluten-free without any artificial sweeteners or sugar or white flour. And there's only 16 grams of sugar per serving. So not only will you feel great while eating it, but you're also gonna feel great afterwards. And you could easily make this ahead of time and then let it sit in your fridge up to several days. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today to make this impressive dessert. And if you'd like to see the full recipe card, click on the link in the description below, which will take you to my website, which is gentletummy.com. And if you know someone else who would love to have a healthy, gluten-free, patriotic dessert, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you with me again in my kitchen next time.